Good morning and welcome. This is Father Marcus from the Costa Blanca Anglican Chaplaincy. Delighted to spend a little bit of time with you. And I missed you last week because I had a week off, but I'm back and refreshed and raring to go. Going to talk to you about something slightly sensitive today, but it needs to be spoken about. I'm looking forward to the 1st of November, the Feast of All Saints. I grew up on All Saints Street in the old town of Hastings. I went to All Saints Junior School. I was in the member of All Saints Church. It's where I grew up and where I was baptised, and it's where I was confirmed, and I was in the choir there singing my littles. Great time. But the concept of All Saints has always been very big for me, and I love the idea that we are all called to be saints. Yes, I do. I love that. But I want to speak a little bit about the consequences of this COVID pandemic. And one of the things that happened, it's brought out the saintliness in so many people. So many people have thought very creatively and positively about others and done lots of loving and caring and looking out for other people. And it really has brought the very best out in many, many, many people. And that is something that needs to be celebrated. But it's not only pandemics that bring out the best in people, so much does as well. And we do want to celebrate the fact that we are all called to be saints. Now, the pandemic has also had other consequences. And for us, along with everybody else, it's had dramatic financial consequences. Dramatic. We weren't able to worship in church for months, which meant there were no collections on those days. We had no visitors. We couldn't do funerals in those days, and there is a financial consequence for us for funerals. We couldn't do weddings or weddings blessings, and we missed the income from those. We couldn't do fundraising, and we missed the income from that. Of course we did. The diocese and the archdeaconry have been helpful. But they've been helpful in a way that has reduced some of our increases that we were supposed to be paying. So they've done what they can so far. But we are in financial straits. Our reserves have taken such a hit that it's unbelievable. And what we're going to have to do is do something fairly dramatic to stabilise ourselves and to put something back into our reserves. And we have decided that on All Saints' Day, when we celebrate the lives of all saints, living and departed, and to celebrate the fact that we are part of the communion of saints, that we're going to have a gift day. And it's a very simple process. The idea is that just on that day, the 1st of November, you make an extra donation to the Costa Blanca Anglican Chaplaincy. And it's as simple as that. Either do it as you come to church, put something extra in the collection. That would be wonderful. Thank you very much. If you've already done it, thank you very much for that. Bless you. Bless you. Or you can donate online, and there are ways of doing that on our website. And in my letter that comes out later in the week, there will be details of bank accounts and things, so you can do it clearly from that. I do know that people have already been generous, so thank you very much for that. I also know that some of you are supporting other people, and bless you for that. If you can't afford it, then okay, that's great. Okay. If you can, then this is the time to be supportive. What I want to do, I think, is talk a little bit about what it's like to be part of the Costa Blanca Anglican Communion, Anglican Chaplaincy, because it makes a difference. And if it weren't here, there would be so many things that you would miss. Some people think that what we do is we have services and people come to church on Sunday. We do, and how wonderful that is. And how great it is that we can worship in our churches again. And there is something beautiful and brilliant. And Christians have found no better thing to do than gather together, to hear the gospel being proclaimed, to break bread together, to share in fellowship, to sing hymns when we can, but to take that communion, that sacrament of the body and blood of Christ, into yourself is such a blessing, such a blessing. And we're delighted that we can do that and people can join us for that. But there's so much more that is the life of our chaplaincy. There's a pastoral care that our clergy are so good at. The visits, the talking, the listening, the being with people, the celebrating the joys in other people's lives, but also being alongside them as they're dealing with their sorrows. Sometimes these visits are very dramatic. Sometimes they're very, very gentle. Sometimes the visits go on and on and on. Sometimes, when I say on, the sequence is for a long time. Sometimes it's a one-off, but there's no end to the love and the pastoral care that our clergy show to others. And not only our clergy, members of our team, of course they do. There's a funeral ministry that we exercise that is a big deal, and it's spread across the Costa Blanca, and it's not just for people who come to church. Many of our funerals are for people who we don't know, but we give them the very best support and service that is possible, and we get very, very close to people very, very quickly. And there is our growing weddings and wedding blessings ministry. This year, completely on hold. We've done none. But there are weddings that we do in our churches or at other venues, blessings that we do, anniversary celebrations, prayers, great stuff. We do that, and it makes a big difference to people that they're there. And then we have our house groups, our Bible studies. I learn so much when we have our Bible studies here in Calpe from the lovely group that come. We did a series on tricky questions, not in Calpe, in Javier this was, where people could ask anything they wanted to about the Christian faith. We've done a series on talks on prayer, on different sorts of ministry. All of this is good, and it happens, and it affects some people. Not everybody go, of course, but the fellowship that we share, the lunches that we have together, the gatherings, the fundraising that we do, and it's fun fundraising. The summer fairs and the Christmas fairs, and the boat trip raffles and the concerts and the discos, and me being a DJ, the dinner dances, jumping out of aeroplanes. Do you remember when I did that? Absolutely terrified. Climbing big mountains. I'm terrified of heights. I'd get queasy if I got thick socks on. And yet, as a fundraiser, climbing the top of Pure Campagna, couldn't do it the first time, too scared. Had to go and have another go. Cycling the length of chaplaincy. So many people have done so many different fundraising activities, concerts, choirs, books, writings, walks, marathons, skipathons. Goodness gracious me. And it's all part of the life of the chaplaincy. But so is the way that we celebrate Holy Week and Easter, ourselves and with other Christians. So is it how we celebrate Pentecost, the great birth of the church. So is it when we celebrate Christmas and have our carol services and our concerts all around the place. Going around the old town, singing carols, going into bars and restaurants, singing carols, having carols on the beach, having people come to our carol services and Remembrance Day services. And they're very, very well attended, and it's important that they happen. And our emails and our letters and our videos and our live streams and just being a Christian presence in this place and being part of the Church of England here in Spain and being part of the diocese in Europe, and you and I just being the body of Christ in this place, comforting, laughing, smiling, just being alongside folk wherever they are, sometimes crying with them, sometimes just being with them, helping out at the hospice, helping out with the Lions, helping out with the British Legion, helping out with local and national charities and charity shops, having a life of prayer, having an online presence. You and I talking about the great things that God has done and continues to do. I don't want to be dramatic, and I could go on about this great list of things that happen. And there's so much more, so much more. I could go on, but you've got the point. The point is that the chaplaincy is a powerhouse of good in the Costa Blanca, and all, without fail, who are in any way associated with it are loved and valued, and they in turn appreciate the fact that we are here. And the only way that we can continue to be here is if people support it. And so one of the things that we're doing is having a gift day on All Saints' Day, the 1st of November. If you can, then please be generous. If you can't, then bless you anyway. That's absolutely fine. But if you can, then either come to church and make a donation, or make a donation online via our website, www.costablancaanglicanchaplaincy.org. And in my letter that comes out a bit later in the week, there will be details of bank accounts and things that you can make a donation through via that. Unapologetic about asking for this, because I believe that the chaplaincy is a great thing, and I also believe that you want it to thrive. So bless you, bless you, bless you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.